degenerate culture sometimes can seem a little bit like if you're not hurting yourself, you don't fit in. And I think that's a very toxic way to think about life.
I didn't wanna like it, but now I'm loving every day. I'm going mad, I'm going crazy. I want my flowers, I want my daisies. Yeah, I look good, so does my lady. They try to copy but can't imitate me. She wanna talk, she want relations. Money don't stop, we ain't separated. If I had to
How are y'all doing? It's Aaron Alaniz, host of the Get Your Shit Together Man podcast and CEO and founder of Basics. We are the world's #1 elite fitness and nutrition coaching company for ambitious men all over the world that are looking to build their best body ever within only 16 weeks or less. To find out more information to see if or how you qualify to work one-on-one with our team, please visit www.basicsbrigade.com. Or if you want to speak with me directly, dude, use the second link in the description of this YouTube video, because now we're going to be doing video podcasts moving forward. And if you're listening to this on audio, it's going to be the very first link. Super simple. It takes about 5 minutes to fill out and really get going. So, man, we're leveling up, guys, huh? It's crazy. I'm out here. I'm shocking myself nowadays a little bit, too. So don't mind the whiteboard. This is my home office setup. This is how we're going to be doing it moving forward. And I kind of want to talk to you about a personal decision that I made personally with the way that I'm going to be living my life moving forward. Now, I want to tell you all a little bit more about my story and how I kind of came to this decision, right? And if you're looking at the title of this podcast episode, it's going to be saying something along the lines of me quitting alcohol forever. Under any circumstance, I don't care if I'm getting married, I don't care if I'm not drinking anymore kind of thing, right? And it's not like I had an issue with it. You know, we actually had a student success story from one of our guys named Lorenzo Pena. And for him, he had talked about him having like an alcohol issue before in the past. And for me, I never had an issue with it, but I definitely think that I was relying on it in certain instances, right? Now, before I kind of talk about why I came to this decision, I want to tell you all a little bit more about my story, right? So when I was growing up, my father, my biological father, he actually used to drink a lot kind of thing. So I remember growing up, and this was even post-divorce. So my parents, my biological parents, got divorced. My mother's a sweetheart. I love my mama. And dad, I still love him, and I forgive him for everything that he did, because I know hurt people can only hurt people kind of thing, right? But when it came down to it, as I'm looking back on some of these moments when I was younger, I remember there being like a whole bunch of crushed cans, because he would fill up these trash bags so heavily that the trash bags ended up getting filled up kind of thing, right? So like if he had all the cans uncrushed, it would be too much. And then he wasn't making the most money either, so he would just crush the cans and it would fit more beer cans in these trash cans. And growing up, I just remember seeing that, like, man, I wonder what's going on. And then he used to do some crazy stuff. You know, I remember sometimes seeing him flip out. He would like flip tables. He would be breaking glass and the whole nine. And I just remember seeing that, like, man, this is crazy. I don't want to drink. So then for a long time, even when I was smoking weed, it's like, I don't want to drink, I don't want to drink, I don't want to drink. And as I was younger, I also had this need to feel validated by people for whatever reason. This is just me being completely upfront with you all, right? So I wanted to be a cool kid. And the thing is that I've always been this person, for myself at least, that's always been born to stand out more so than fit in. And when you are born to stand out rather than fit in, sometimes when you're younger, people can look at you a certain way and it can make you feel a little bit ashamed for being who you are in your own regard. So I've always been a little bit more rambunctious, always been a little bit more bold with certain things. And I always felt like an outsider because of it. I always felt like I was on the outside looking in. So when college came, I was like, man, I could finally be away. And at the time also, I was wrestling in high school. Senior year, I ended up tearing up my ACL, PCL, and LCL. And then I was just kind of out of a dream. I wanted to be a UFC fighter. I wanted to be an MMA fighter. I wanted to wrestle collegiately or whatever. And all that's kind of just blew up in my face. You know what I mean? After that, I was like, man, I don't have to be in high school anymore. I can meet new people. I was smoking a little bit of weed at the time, taking a little bit of pills, whatever the case may be, when I was in high school. And I was like, I can finally be myself in college kind of thing. And what ended up happening was I got around a group of people, kind-hearted people. I still talk with them, a few of them to this day. Drinking was a thing in college, obviously, right? And it was underage drinking. So I remember just drinking. And there was times where I would black out. And a lot of it was because I didn't really develop my, I guess myself to a certain extent to where I can feel comfortable talking with people, just being myself. So at the time, it was like I would have that liquid confidence on myself. So I would just kind of drink a whole bunch of beer, drink a whole bunch of whiskey, whatever the case may be, in order to talk to new people, or in order to go get that girl, in order to go do this, in order to do that. So alcohol is always one of those things that's like, if you want this, include alcohol into your system, and you can be what you want. You can be who you want to be, kind of thing. And it was something that at the time when I was a freshman in college, freshman high school, it'd be crazy. So I know some people are like that. Thankfully, it wasn't me. And again, if that was you, hopefully you learned your lesson, right? When it comes down to it, I remember freshman year in college, kind of thing, in university, I was blacking out like twice a week, kind of thing. So there were some times I still remember. I know that sounds funny, like saying I remember blacking out, but you know what I mean. There was definitely some times to where I would black out, and as a byproduct, I would just wake up in my car. So it's just, I just remember chug, and then after just everything blacks out in my memory, and then I would wake up in a car. It would be my car. I'd wake up on someone's sofa that I didn't know, with vomit all over my shirt and just like red stains. I was like, what are these red stains for? And supposedly I was eating like hot Cheetos or Takis or something when I was drinking, and then I just threw it all up as I was just intoxicated, kind of thing. And it was a crazy experience for me to go through. And the thing is, I never stopped. I just kept partying because I wanted to be social, but I was viewing alcohol as like this middleman between me and other people, kind of thing. And since then, I was like, okay, I'm not going to drink like that anymore. But I always found a balance, you know, when it came down to me going out with girls, kind of thing. It's like, hey, let's go grab a drink or two, kind of thing. And I was attracting girls that wanted a drink or two, if that makes sense. And the thing is, as I'm growing older, as I'm becoming more of who I've always wanted to be, I'm finding the importance of just standing on who you are and what you truly believe in, not just what you would want people to think about you. So for me, it's like, I just don't want to drink like that. I've been there, I've done that. I understand how everything tastes. I understand how everything feels. I understand the side effects. And especially as you start trying to scale a business or trying to scale your personal productivity, a day of not working, man, that can cost several $1,000s depending on how you view your time, kind of thing. And that's how it is for me. It's like, man, me not showing up at 100% for our guys here at Basics, or me not executing some of these plans. These are some things that require a lot of things from me. If you can tell, I barely got a couple of them checked off. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to it, it's really important that I show up at 100% each and every single day. And that mental clarity has been helping me out a ton lately. But in terms of everything else, I think I can pretty much summarize this point in a super, super simple way. You know, when I was scared to be myself and scared to just be a good dude who wanted to help people out, still a little bit, quote unquote, arrogant, still a little bit whatever, still a little bit abrasive. I felt more comfortable being a fun guy more so than a good guy. Now, I don't mean good guy by like people pleasing tendencies or like this or like that. I mean, just if I'm keeping it a buck with you, just like I was afraid to be myself. You know, unfortunately nowadays, if you think about it, degenerate culture in general is just like rampant nowadays. Like it's just cool to just like hurt yourself. And then if you're not hurting yourself every single weekend, it's just like, oh, you don't fit in, kind of thing. And people never say it, but that's how they make you feel sometimes. And if you feel like that's happening to you consistently, you need to start getting around different people. You know what I mean? If you're out here wanting to make decisions for yourself personally, and people are making you feel like an outsider for not wanting to hurt yourself in that manner, you need to find a different circle, because that's actually like a very, very glorious thing to do, just based on what you believe in. It's like, hey, I'm not going to do that because I know myself. I don't like it, and it is what it is. And when it comes down to it, alcohol has so many freaking negative side effects. Let me see if I can look up an article as we're speaking about this. First and foremost, I like having veins on my biceps. Those extra calories that you get from the beer sometimes, the whiskey, the whole nine, it's just like not worth it for me. I'd rather have a couple extra slices of bread, maybe a bagel, maybe some cream cheese or something along those lines. But unfortunately, when it comes down to it, a lot of people just would rather consume their calories in that manner. Or here's the thing. Also, when it comes down to alcohol, it inhibits your decision-making ability. Meaning, say, for example, you're on a cut and then you've been wanting to lose this body fat for a while, or wanting to get in the gym for a while. And then you choose, hey, man, let me just let me have a beer or two, and then it turns into 4, and then it turns into 6. And then down here in McAllen, people have like these things. It's called Whataburger. So for those of y'all in Cali, it's like an In-N-Out, one of these fast food places that's just like, it tastes good. It's not really good for you, right? To put it simply. And you say it happens. It's like, hey, yeah, well, might as well get the Whataburger. Might as well go get the shake. Might as well go get the fries. Might as well go get the add-ons, the super size this, the what a size that, whatever the case may be. And it's just not worth it for me anymore. You know, I kind of made this decision when I was in North Carolina. So if you all checked out the most recent vlog that we uploaded, excuse me, I was in North Carolina with one of our guys, Ryan Barker, and we went to this place called downtown kind of thing, or uptown. So in North Carolina and Charlotte, instead of downtown in the big cities, it's called uptown. I was like, okay. I was asking him, hey man, can you take me to uptown? I just want to see the vibe. And as I was there, I remember before speaking to him, there's this guy in both of our networks. I won't shout him out now just because obviously I'm building my platform and I don't want to be that guy to name drop in order to build a platform. Like, look how cool I am, right? But he's someone I really really respect. You know, he dresses really well. He's like a fashion consultant. He makes custom suits for people. He doesn't curse very much, and he doesn't, what's the other thing? He doesn't drink alcohol at all. And I was like, wait, you're able to do both? Like you, and then you're still like fit in with, you know what I mean? It was just weird for me. And then in a good way, I was like, oh, it's possible to do that? Like it's possible to be like in a crowd and be like, I don't want to drink. I didn't know that until very recently. I thought just the way that I was surrounding myself with people, I always felt like I had to do that when I was going out. So for the longest time, I was convincing myself I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out, because from the ages of 18 until like 25 kind of thing, if I'm being honest, going out equals trying to talk to girls kind of thing. And while you're plastered as hell kind of thing. And that's it. That's how I always equated it from my brain. It was never to just literally go out and have a good time and listen to music and talk to people. I know how that sounds. I can be a little bit out of touch sometimes. I'll be completely honest with you. But that's just the way it was for me. And I just had to sit down with myself and look in the mirror and say, do you really want to do this anymore kind of thing? As I've been making some changes in my life, as things have come in abundantly and as the bad things have left me, I've just come to realize I only got one life to live. I understand how that path goes. It's very similar to Neo in the Matrix. Neo always talks about, or I think it was like Morpheus, or who, I forget, when they were in that car scene. Hopefully you all understand what I'm saying. He's in that car, and then he's about to leave. Like, no, Neo, you know what road that goes down. And I feel like that's the stage that I'm at right now, because obviously with me doing this video podcast, this camera here wasn't cheap. Hopefully you can tell. Like, I'm trying to make sure that we're doing the best that we possibly can in order to represent the brand well, in order to show you all who I really am. And the man behind the logo, more so than anything else. And when it comes down to it, I know how that path goes. And especially as I'm dating a little bit more and I'm out here just building myself up to the 10th degree, me saying certain things about like a drink or two, nothing wrong with people that want to do it for balance. If that's cool, that's you. But I just think that's going to bring the same kind of women that I've dealt with in the past kind of thing. Because it's just like the happiest people that I know, including that other person, don't really drink like that. And that's just me personally in my personal life. They just don't. They're just happy. They're content. Like, why would I want to mess up my health? Why would I want to mess up kind of my own joy? Like, I don't need to alter my state whatsoever with alcohol or like a substance here or substance there. It's just something I don't want to do personally. That doesn't mean that people can't do it. I'm never going to give someone a side eye for making a personal decision as a man or as an adult in general. It's just, for me, the balance wasn't healthy. You know, I was never an alcoholic. It's just like, what was the reason why I was drinking? And sometimes it was to celebrate, but more times it was kind of like escaping, if I'm being honest with you. It's just me being completely honest. It's like, man, this isn't going well. Let me go out and have a drink kind of thing. Or, hey, I'm going out with the boys. She looks fine. Let me escape my head and let me go talk to her kind of thing. It was very escapism kind of route. And there's two routes to go down with alcohol. You can either celebrate, which is cool, or there's escaping with it, right? I personally believe that escaping is wrong for it. And especially with alcohol, man, a lot of people that I know that have overcome alcohol, like being an alcoholic kind of thing, they always talk about it being one of the toughest drugs to quit because it's on every corner. When you really break it down, it's like, man, that's crazy when you think about it. You know, other drugs, like, I don't know if someone does something insane. I know this on YouTube, so I got to kind of watch what I'm saying. But some things are just hard to find. Like, if someone asked me, hey, can you go find this hard drug or this hard, like, I wouldn't know where to find it kind of thing. I don't know if I go on Craigslist for that stuff or I have no clue kind of thing, right? But when it comes down to it, alcohol is just so readily available kind of thing. And it was so easy for me to get a hold on when I was younger too. Where it was just like, okay, well, I can go grab it here. I can go grab it there. I can ask this person who's older that's hanging out with 18-year-olds for whatever reason, which is the weirdest thing in the world, right? Hey, he's 23, 22, 21. Can you buy me this? I'll give you a 20 that my mom gave me kind of thing. And it's just a really crazy way to go about life for me personally. I've really internalized this one statement that I've heard for quite some time, because when it comes down to my aspirations, I've always aimed to be in the top 1% of a lot of things that I do. So with this podcast, I want to have one of the biggest podcasts out there. I also want to have one of the biggest YouTube channels for fitness. I also want Basics to be the biggest online personal training business ever. And I want to license out some of the systems to people in gyms that's like want to do online training. But it's like, how do I do it? It's like, we have the best systems in the world kind of thing, and Basics will host it. You know what I mean? So, and then maybe supplement line or this or that. Like, there's so many things in my head that I just want to create kind of thing, that in order for me to be as sharp as attacking and really be as sharp as I want to and make sure that I'm doing it, I got to make sure my brain is dialed in at all times. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, it hasn't been or it wasn't at one point kind of thing. And sometimes I'm always looking back, it's like, man, I'm 25 years old. And I know it's still relatively young. Some people fuck off, if we're being honest, their whole life. I fucked off 5 years, and then it took me a little bit to kind of rebound to where I'm at now, to where we're doing fairly well. But nonetheless, I messed off a lot of time thinking about it. Like, I really messed off so much time wanting to be someone I wasn't. And then I'm at this point now to where it's like, man, I know exactly who I want to be. Like, I want to be extremely successful entrepreneur, fitness influencer kind of thing that can have just this fitness empire online, and then transition into other creative things as they go on. I was watching an Alex Hormozy video, if y'all know who Alex Hormozy is. So shout out to Alex. He's the guy. Just a cool ass person, right? When it comes down to it, he ended up saying this thing in his video recently, to where it's like, the reason why you are, because he was talking about meaning in life, because he has so much money, he's just like, I wasn't working, all of my business is systemized to the crazy, because we're on different ends, obviously, right? So for me, I'm like the one-man band currently, and then I'm trying to like find ways to hire people and like transition. So when I say entrepreneur, that's what I'm growing into. In full transparency, I'm like more self-employed, but I do a hell of a job being self-employed, right? I'm just working into doing other things like that, right? He was talking about, and this might sound crazy, he was like, he saw this quote, he can't remember how it went, but it was like, the reason why you don't kill yourself is the meaning to your life. And then that just really, I'm going to stay silent right there just for the impact, right? He ended up saying that, and I was like, man, that's an absolutely crazy way to think about it. So I was like, okay, so why don't I do something like that? I know it's not, but just asking yourself that question. And for me, it's because I have so many ideas that I want to create and put into this world and add value to as many people as I can within multiple different arenas kind of thing. I just want to be able to share my experience, my stories, and then build so many things that we can help people excel with in all areas of life, you know, with their fitness, their mindset, their health, their nutrition, personal productivity. Like I love helping guys that are already trying to work at building their best selves, but they just need a few minor adjustments and a few minor tweaks in order to get to where they want to be. And that's really where I like living, you know, with business stuff. So if I wouldn't ever be able to do something like that because my ideas aren't even fleshed out yet. You know what I mean? Like all these things that we're doing here with the video podcast things and this and this and this, I saw it in my head first. You know, like it was an idea that started out, and then I just executed. You know, right now it's 12:15 a.m. on a Wednesday, technically, kind of thing. You know, I'm still doing this stuff. Been up since like 9 a.m. kind of thing. And this is what I do. And I wouldn't be able to do this kind of tempo and do these kind of things at this time if I was out drinking. and this is just me personally. Some people can find a balance within themselves. Right now, I want to be the most high performing individual that I possibly can, because that's the only way that I'm going to win. I'm not going to win thinking about things to hurt myself. You know what I mean? Like I said, no judgments to anyone else out there. Everyone can make their own decisions. I just want to make sure that if I have one chance at life, which again, I only got one chance at life. You may only have one chance at life, or we all have one chance at life, right? Make the most of it. I've been down that road. I understand what it's like. And it just doesn't give me like a sense of completeness, man. But what does give me a sense of completeness is serving our guys at Basics, right? It's me looking in the mirror and me feeling happy with the way I look. It's me talking with my mother and being completely clear-headed. It's me talking to my stepfather, my brother, my family members, and just being like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? And then being a good role model for our guys too at Basics, which is something I really, really pride myself on. Like being able to do all these things and maintain communication and do all. It's just like I'm doing multiple full-time jobs right now at this stage in my life, and I've had to take several moments lately to just really soak it in, because a couple of years ago I wanted to be in this exact position to where I'm at now, and now it's like this next stage is just like so bright, and I can't wait to take you all with me, and I can't wait to serve you all as the leading factor. This has never been about me. Well, I'll be honest with you. I want to be freaking famous. I want to be rich. I want to do the whole nine. I want to have an abundant life. I want people to know about my story. I'll never deny that. But the core of it has always been helping people. Because if I was wanting to do something more passionate, if you want to know anything about more my story, I'd be making music, man. I'd be doing like the hip hop stuff. I'd be trying to make music and produce or do something along those lines, because that's what my actual quote unquote passion is. Because I'm a creative person in general. So it's like, you give me something like that, like I can go. But the reason I'm doing this fitness business stuff and the podcast and the YouTube stuff around fitness and self-development stuff for men is that, if I'm being honest with you, is how I can serve people. And when I was in my most depressed state, taking 5 different prescription medications, waking up at whatever time I wanted, 0 friends, 0 social skills, 0 communication skills, 0 girls, dry spell, freaking like crazy. I went freaking 2020 kind of thing. So bro, I'm telling you right now, the only thing that's made me feel whole and complete as a man is serving other people to the best of my ability. So a lot of the times it's like, hey, so how do you feel happy? Not only is it a choice for me, like I can choose to be happy and I can choose to be that version of myself, but I'm also happy to be of service as a man. And whenever you can live in that happiness to be of service, it's just next level. So like I said, I came to this conclusion when I was in North Carolina. Ryan Barker ended up taking me to Uptown. And then I kind of realized we got the opportunity to buy some drinks. I was like, oh, let me just test it out tonight. And it was my first time I had ever gone out without drinking like that, believe it or not. And again, sometimes it was 1 drink, 2 drinks. Sometimes I got plastered kind of thing, but I just decided not to drink. And then I was just minding my business. Just wanted to see how it felt. I was like it's not bad. I can just go out and not drink and just talk to people kind of thing. And even then, I didn't even talk that much when we went out. I just talked to one girl. She was kind of a little stuck up about it, but it happens, man. Shoot or shoot. You got to do what you got to do, right? So I just kind of realized I was cool. So I just like enjoying the music. I like hanging out with my boy. I like watching the skyscrapers. It's freaking cool. So I kind of came to that conclusion recently. And if you've been wanting to maybe stop, and you've been feeling kind of peer pressured, because unfortunately, like I said earlier, degenerate culture sometimes can seem a little bit like if you're not hurting yourself, you don't fit in. And I think that's a very toxic way to think about life. You know what I mean? So, you're not hurting yourself? Oh, you don't fit in. You know what I mean? I want to live my best life possible. And for me, moving forward, alcohol is not going to be a part of the equation under any circumstance whatsoever. So thank you all for watching this podcast. Thank you all for listening to this podcast. I love you all very much. You all have been with me since the jump. I definitely understand, and I'm well aware of us kind of making you all do a little things like, hey, check out the podcast, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case may be. But thank you all for being patient with me. So again, if you want to find out more information to see how you qualify to work one-on-one with the Basics team, please visit www.basicsbrigade.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out this podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, and the whole 9. And if you want to book a call with me, use one of the links below. You'll see it pretty plain and clear, obviously in English. And again, if no one's told you in a minute, I will tell you right now, it's time to get your shit together, man. Also, when it comes down to it, the tempo of the podcast now, we tried doing daily initially. It was a great way for me to find my voice and get in the habit of doing this stuff. But now it's going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays on the YouTube channel, and then all the other platforms if we want to do more later. As I build out a team, we'll do more. Right now, it's just me. I feel like we want to pull out my hair, but the mission's too great for me.